Welcome to the Cohen Veterans Bioscience Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Knowledge Map, powered by Exaptive. When you enter this ZAP, the first thing you'll notice is the grid on the left. This grid is full of points. Each point represents an entity in our research space. An entity is a key concept, clinical, or molecular variable that has been extracted from 250 published primary articles and review articles about PTSD. This research space is in the process of being expanded with additional articles, so the number you see in this tutorial might not be representative of what you see when you log in. So you can search for entities in this research space. Examples of entities are conditions, symptoms, even biomarkers. The relative spacing of the points serves to illustrate the entity's relationship to one another. Clusters of points indicate that those entities are found in the same article or are likely within a few degrees of separation. We'll take a more in-depth look at exploring the paths from one entity to another in a later video. You'll notice that some points are larger than others. The size illustrates the number of literature citations about that entity that are in this explorable model. The largest points represent entities found in several peer-reviewed journal articles or reviews. When you left-click and drag a box around a set of points, you'll see all the corresponding entities show up in a word cloud on the right. Again, size indicates the number of articles in which that entity can be found. But in the word cloud, the entities are positioned to maximize use of space in the window rather than to represent a relationship in the literature. If you hover your cursor over an entity in the word cloud, it will highlight it on the grid. If you have a good idea of where you'd like to start already, you can type an entity into the search bar above the grid and below the text, Search All Entities. It will auto-populate entity suggestions as you type. Another great way to visualize the data is by using the Color By feature. When you click on the drop-down menu, you have several options. Each option not only organizes your selected entities by color on the right, but if you click on the color in the legend beneath the grid on the left, it will create a word cloud for all the entities that fall into that category. The entities can be identified by color if they are biomarkers, if the entity is in the brain region, whether the entity is clinical or molecular or both, whether the entity was found in a review or the primary literature, and which entities come from articles on humans, mice, or some other test species. So we drag a box over several points on the grid, the word cloud comes up, and we can refine our categories of interest by color-coding the results. We'll take a look at where to go from here in the next video when we make our working set. And if you forget what something does, click on the question mark icon. That brings up a panel of concise feature, property, and functionality explanations. The information will resize according to the resolution of your screen, and there may be more than one panel, as indicated by these arrows. You can hide the information panels by clicking on the X here. The grid is meant to show the entire landscape and serve as a control panel to search for subcomponents of the entire research model. So by starting here, you're on your way to discovering the relationship among countless combinations of entities.